My name is Maureen Shaughnessy. I have lived in Helena here for 37 years, and I'm an artist, and I own this gallery with my husband, Tim Carney. And for about a year, we were down the street in the 300 block, and then last October 1st, we moved into this wonderful space, and we've just totally expanded. And now the gallery has 16, 17 artists that we represent, in addition to myself and my husband, who's also an artist. And we are just so happy to have this gallery and to make this space available for everyone in this community, especially for emerging artists and young artists. So that's a little bit about me. This exhibit is called Celebrate the Body. And I thought of this because I've been taking, I've taken figure drawing classes most of my adult life, or used models in figure drawing sessions. So like groups of artists will get together and we'll pay a model to pose for us for a couple of hours. And Patty Siglio, who I know, who's one of the artists that we represent, she's a ceramic artist, also was starting to use models to do figure drawing, and she was incorporating it into her ceramics. So I thought of asking her to go together with me in this exhibit, and then I met Nancy Goffner, who is the third artist in this exhibit, and she works almost exclusively with female bodies, and it just all fell together perfectly. And as we planned the exhibit, and as each of us worked on our body of work, so to speak, it became apparent to me that really what this exhibit is all about is acceptance of our bodies just the way we are, and non-judgmentalness towards ourselves and towards other people, and learning how to really see and look at the human body, and through that being able to really look at art. I feel like the human body, and I think most artists would say this, is one of the most difficult things to draw. And it's partly because we're so familiar with ourselves. You know, we don't maybe think about what our body looks like, but we know what it feels like to be inside this body. And when you sit down and you try to draw what you are so familiar with, it's like thinking about the air that we breathe. So it's something that a lot of artists strive to be able to do, to draw the human body, to draw the human figure. And every artist draws it differently. And it really helps to have a live model sitting in front of you, posing, to be able to do that kind of work. Because if you just look at a photograph of a nude body, say, you can't see all around, all the different angles. You can't look behind. You can't see the mass. You can only see this flat two-dimensional thing and then interpret in your head what you want to draw. So my work in this show is all from life drawing sessions. And I work really big. I work on pieces of paper that are like 3 feet by 4 feet big. And I love working big. I use my whole body to draw, my arms, you know, my shoulders, instead of this little scritchy, scratchy way of, you know, if I work really tiny, I get real, what's the word I'm thinking of? Kind of like just tense with my pencil. And I don't like it as much as the loose, free drawing that I can do when I work big. However, it costs a lot of money to frame huge frames, you know, huge pictures. And a lot of people don't have that kind of space on their walls. So for this exhibit, I chose to make prints of my work. And this is an ultra-chrome print, which is an archival print. It's on German etching paper that has a lot of tooth to it. And then I took the prints, I made them the size I wanted them. So then I took those and I added mixed media, graphite, pastel, chalk, paint, papers, collage onto the prints. And that gave me a sense of being able to really play with some of my drawings and to create different moods. So there are some drawings in here. This one behind me is one of my very favorites. It's a woman sitting just sort of thinking, very relaxed and calm, and she has a slip on. And I did this large one, and then I did 4 smaller ones. And I did each of them very different. And I just had so much fun playing with how to create different moods with the same drawing, but using different colors or different strokes. She doesn't have any facial features, but the other ones do, and I just would make a little stroke with my pencil. And just the way the stroke ended up changed her face totally. And I just want to show a little bit about how easy it is to, with one little stroke, the face on this woman with the red hair and pure white skin, she has a really high cheekbone, and she just has a completely different nose and a completely different expression on her face than this one. And this one has this dark black hair and a more receding hairline and a heavier brow and a thicker nose and a stronger chin and just a little hint of an eye and a cheekbone. And to me, she looks Samoan. To me, this one looks like from a Scandinavian country or Ireland. And then there's this one here, which I named this Woman Who Loves Trees. And you know, I put myself into her body, into that moment that she's sitting there very quietly thinking or just relaxing, and I think, what is she feeling? This is how I come up with this title. And she's just sitting there thinking how much she loves trees. Something fun that I did with these pieces was I decided to give them a size. So each one of them has a title, and right below the title it says the size. And the size is based on dress sizes. So there's petite, small, medium, large, and plus. And I kind of wanted to tie that in to our whole cultural view and judgment and the beauty standard that we hold people up to, thinking that petite and small is better than large and plus size. And so these two are large. The two that are on either side of those gray walls are plus. But those women, those paintings, those poses, they're just as beautiful and voluptuous as some of my other ones that I called petite or small. You know, I think that we need to drop those kind of judgments and be able to see ourselves and see other people as beautiful from the inside out. Just to give people a little idea of my techniques. So again, this is an ultra chrome print, and it started out much larger than this. And I chose to make it, you know, this size. And I had all my prints back from the printer. He's a photographer in town who has an amazing Ektachrome printer. And he brought me the prints, and I laid them all out on my work table, and I'm looking at them just going, oh my God, you know, I'm gonna ruin these prints. Because my whole thought was I call it mangling the prints. It's really playing with them. And so the very first one I did is not this one. This was about the second or third one I did. But the very first one I did, I had it on my work table, and I'm standing there with my brush, and it's loaded with paint. And I'm just hesitating, you know, whether I'm gonna, you know, what's that first brush stroke gonna look like? And I finally just said, okay, Maureen, I'm just gonna do it. I mean, it's only like a $30 print, big deal. You can buy another one if you ruin it. So that was what got me into it. And I made that first brush stroke, and boom, there I was, just going crazy with it, and I loved it. And so for each one, I had to make that first brush stroke of paint, or cut out some paper and lay it down there and kind of think and ponder how I was going to do it. And once I glued the paper down, I was committed. And once I got committed with either that first brush stroke or the first piece of collage paper, it flowed from me, and I just had a lot of fun with it. This particular one, I was experimenting with really bright colors, because a lot of the pieces I did have sort of more earthy colors and muted colors. And this one I wanted bright colors, and I wanted this kind of gold leaf effect in here. And I struggled with this one. My original had all of this black ink, because when I had done the drawing in the life drawing session, I used ink, and there was just a lot of ink over here, and this was all white. And I wanted this feeling of a strong, statuesque woman at complete comfort in her body, striding from the light to a shadowed area. And I didn't want this plain white that was in the background, so I painted a piece of paper and cut it out to match the angle of her body here, and put that in, and then I did this down here and some little rice paper and that kind of thing, and then I added more black to it and added a little bit more detail. And I love the way this one turned out. It's called How to Be Blessed, and I'm not quite sure where that title came from, but it feels to me like she is feeling so at ease and so at home in her body that she's lucky, she's blessed. When I think about the reason why I do art and my big why, like my purpose of being an artist, what it really boils down to for me is helping other people feel the kind of connection that I feel to everything in creation, to nature, to the environment, even if it's a back alley or a city sidewalk or a park or a river. And it really boils down to that. I feel this very strong connection to nature, and I feel like I'm not any different from nature. I think I talked about that a little bit in my talk last night, where I said that the skin that is between me and the air out here, it's just a skin. It's just a very thin layer. And the person that is me, which is like, I consider that my soul, my spirit, or my heart, my essence, I don't know where it is inside this skin, inside this body, but the skin is very thin and very permeable, and I move very easily between the inside and the outside. And I would love my art to help other people get that about themselves. And so it isn't just this one particular series of figure drawings and paintings that I made for this show that I do. I also do other mixed media pieces, and I think a lot about the unconscious and ecology, and how do we fit in, how are we the same as a tree? How are we the same as a fish? Or the same as the rug on the floor? So that's basically what I'm trying to accomplish.